First things first, I have to admit, I am not a great painter. But can I become one? I got into tabletop gaming way back when Warhammer was released some 20-25 years ago. At that time I was a lot more interested in the game itself than painting miniatures. But my friends absolutely refused to play with grey plastic. So I had to get my hands on some hobby paints and slap on thick layers of color. Those models turn out, well, let's just say awful would be an understatement. But hey, at least I was allowed to put them on the table. My interest in painting didn't exactly blossom after that, so all my minis looked downright terrible until the fall of 2019, when I first discovered Citadel's contrast paints. A whole new world opened up. Suddenly I could apply just one layer of paint and my models looked a million times better. Or at least to my eyes they did. Now, I know there are some absolute gods out there creating pure artistry in miniature painting, but I always thought that their level was far out of my reach. However, in the past year I found myself falling down the YouTube rabbit hole, watching painting video after painting video by some of the best painters out there, like Vince Venturella, Roman Lapat, Squidmar, Ninion, yeah, the list just goes on. These guys are creating masterpieces, and that got me thinking, could I actually get good enough that I wouldn't feel like a preschooler showing off my first paint by number set while I'm putting my mini next to theirs? So here's the plan. I will dive into 12 to 15 different artists' YouTube channels, taking notes and trying to apply what I learned. I want to do this not only to level up my skills, but also so you can see how hard, or hopefully how easy it is for a total beginner to follow along with the techniques these painting masters are sharing. My goal is to reach a level where someday maybe I can even enter a painting competition, even if it's just a contest at my local hobby store. Now, I don't have the vast range of paints or specific brands that these master painters use. Most of my paints are from Army Painter's Speed Paint 2.0, that's the contrast paint equivalent to the Citadel, and a War Painter Fanatic line, with a few Citadel colors mixed in. So I'll do my best to find colors that match what they are using, but I might have to be creative. For this first video, I'll be taking on Andy for Mediocre Hobbies. I am leaving a link to his channel in the description. Andy also starts his minis with contrast paints, but he's taken his skills to a whole new level. Let's see if I can manage even a hint of the quality he's bringing to his minis. Just want to say a huge thank you to all of you who watch these videos. More and more people are finding their way to this channel, and so many of you have subscribed already. It really means the world to me. And if you're here for the first time, I hope you find this interesting and join me for the journey ahead by hitting that subscribe button. Just like Andy, I've started off with a primer, first black, follow with a white spray. Simple enough, right? Now it's time for the speed paint. I start with gunner camo for most of the clothes. Then I go with ochre clay on the sleeves and the visible parts of the pants. Moving on to Sketchel Brown, I paint up boots, belt and any other leather straps. Next up, I break out the only contrast paint I'm using in this video, Wildwood. In my opinion, this is one of the best colors for wood. It's perfect for the bow and spear. Then it's time for the skin. I use warrior skin, my go-to whenever I'm painting flesh tones. For For the helmet and spear tip, I carefully apply broadsword silver, making sure not to smudge it on the face because it's a tight squeeze in there. And this is what we have after the speed paint step. Honestly, I am pretty happy with it as it is, and I usually call it good. But today we are leveling up. As Andy would, I apply a full wash of Nuln oil over the entire miniature. The result is darker than I like. So here is hoping the next step helps brighten things up a bit. Now it's acrylic time. After watching Andy's video about 1,000,000 times, it seems like he paints right over the speed paint. So that's what I'm doing here with Army Green. And here's where I start feeling, oh no, it's creeping in. It looks pretty rough. I mix Army Green with Ashen Stone and try my hand at some highlighting. Next I grab Fur Brown, tone it down with a bit of matte black and attempt to highlight the brown speed paint areas on the belt, straps and boots. Then comes the moment of truth, as I attempt to apply some yellow. Watching the footage, it's not looking great, to be honest. But hey, in low light, ideally almost pitch black, it might just pass. Finally, I add a bit more metallic to highlight the edges of the spear and the helmet. The last touch, a bit of gold on the belt buckle for that final detail. A huge shout out to Andy at Mediocre Hobbies. Thanks for showing me that there's hope for all of us, even if I got a long way to go to reach this level of skill. This was challenging, but also a blast. I feel like I'm actually starting to understand some of these techniques. Baby steps, right? This video is just the start of a new painting journey. I'll be taking inspiration from other incredible painters in each episode of this series. So if you want to keep following along, be sure to check out the playlist for more of these painting videos. Thanks so much for watching, and here's the leveling up. One brushstroke at a time. For now, Thomas signing off.